Hey, this is Mark Washington, MTC Media here at George Mason. As you can see, there seems to be a youth game going on in the background. Mason wins on homecoming 82-67 over Rhode Island. It was so happened also to be Tony Skin's birthday, so he gets a win on his birthday. Mason was led by Darius Maddox, 24 points. Jalen Haynes had 16 points and 7 rebounds, and the freshman Justin Begg, 12 points on 4 for 6 shooting, 3 for 4 from the three-point line. His contribution continues to grow, and it gives Coach Skin and George Mason this three-headed monster as the primary ball handler, where you can play them singular, you can play two of them at once. Just gives a lot of flexibility to this team. For Rhode Island, they were led by David Fuchs, 17 points. Look, for George Mason staying in first place on a day like this, you were going to see maturity. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on here for homecoming. George Mason gets off to this fast start, and you're wondering how mature are they going to be? Are they going to go ahead and stick their foot on the necks of Rhode Island? Are they going to let Rhode Island sneak back in here because you're starting to get away from the things that got you there? And for the most part, they went through a bad defensive stretch in the first half that allowed this game to be 46-40 at halftime after George Mason had led by, I think, as much as 15 or 16 in the first half. But coming out of the locker room, and this is somewhat coaching, coming out of the locker room, George Mason's defense looked like George Mason's defense. And Rhode Island, after shooting 57% in the first half, only shot 36% in the second half, including 2 for 9 from threes. And that's because the defense ratcheted up. They can just do so much. The big boys inside, Haynes, who eventually fouled out, and Imajura, they clogged the middle up. And the on-ball defense in the second half was much better also. Everything was being contested. And look, that's what Billups not playing as much as he has played lately. He had 4 fouls. Imajura had 4 fouls. Haynes fouled out. So there were some foul issues there. But the depth of Tony Skin and this squad, and if you go back and look at the post-game presser that I have posted on my YouTube channel, he talks about the depth that they have. They have 9 guys here that can play any amount of time at any time, depending on what type of game it is. And it's just not too many teams that can say that, no matter what conference they're in. George Mason has it here. They shot extremely well from the three-point line today, 11 for 21 from 3. That's not going to happen. I don't know how often that's going to happen with this team. But when George Mason is shooting like that and defending that the way that they defend, I mean, they can just go ahead and just take teams out. They can dominate teams. In the second half, the league got as high as 20. And that's simply because they defend well. And it's why this team has won on the road. It's why this team's also in first place. It's because their defense will carry the offense anytime. The offense can be on, the defense is going to be there. The offense can be off, the defense is going to be there. And that calling card is certainly helping George Mason achieve what they want to achieve, which was to stay in first place today. Takeaways from it, starting off, I'm going to go back to Justin Begg. The idea that the freshman has improved so much offensively, defensively, and there is nothing more enjoyable than watching Coach Skin tutor Begg on the sidelines when he comes out. I mean, the back and forth, you can see the body language, you can see the teaching, you can see the respect, you can see the love. And that certainly comes with coaching, and it's just not talked about enough. I mean, where Coach Skin is bringing Justin on is terrific. He played a position, he got a team to the Final Four playing this position. So, I mean, he does have that sort of respect. Second takeaway was just the defense in the second half. The idea that they held them to 36% after the 57% in the first half. And a lot of it was just getting focused back then on defense. Stop fouling, getting focused back on defense, and taking away the passing lanes. So when they get on the one string, then it's hard to beat them, because in Atlantic 10, they pretty much has more size and more length on the perimeter than other teams have. So they clog things up constantly. and Rhode Island got clogged up in the second half. So once they start missing shots, George Mason's offense now becomes a secondary transition thing, which helps them overcome some of the limitations that they have on offense. So it all goes together with that defense leading the offense. And last but not least, the three-point shooting and the free throw shooting. The three-point shooting, 11 for 21. George Mason has to get more than 12 free throw attempts. Again, in a game like this, no one cares, but going down the stretch, especially in those road games, getting to the free throw line and making your free throws is important. So pushing the ball inside, you can say, well, maybe Rhode Island just wasn't fouling, but pushing the ball inside, letting that thing work inside out, and wearing teams down and beating teams down with your depth. So again, here from EBA, George Mason 82, Rhode Island 67. It's Marcus Washington, MTC Media.